Okay, y'all, this is interesting to me. Y'all know that even though I'm Catholic, I've never been a big fan of Pope Francis. I've never made any bones about it. But the man's coming around. He's coming around, guys. And the usual suspects are they're threatening to cancel him now. They're encircling him for saying things that he's not permitted to say, and and if you're going to say, well, does this make up for him being a totally lame pope for 7 years? No, I'm not saying anything of the kind. I'm just saying we got to give credit where credit is due. Earlier today, I recorded a video in which I praised Elon Musk, or at least I noted that Elon Musk is against depopulation, which sets him at odds from just about all the rest of the global elite. And I just thought that was interesting. Does that mean that I think that Elon is definitely on the up and up? No, I'm not saying that at all. The saying, Ronald Reagan saying, trust but verify, I don't even trust. I just verify. I just try to verify, and I remain untrusting. That's pretty much where I'm at most all of the time. But give it up for Pope Francis for saying something that's getting him in trouble with the neoliberal Mockingbird media. This is an article from the Daily Beast. Interestingly named Daily Beast in this context when we're talking about theological matters. So the headline, Pope Francis says NATO started war in Ukraine by barking at Putin's door. Conspiracy theories! Conspiracy theories! Yes, they're trying to slap the conspiracy theory label. This is their latest slur. This is the slur that they favor the most these days. Someone who is not on board with them, they call them a conspiracy theorist. They say they've fallen prey to conspiracy theory. It's most often used in an intellectually highly disingenuous way, and here it's there can be no justification for it, but they use it anyway because they're scum, because they're the Luggenpresse, because they're the Mockingbird media, and they lie. It's what they do. So the pontiff. Okay, so remember the media was in love with Pope Francis, has been in love with Pope Francis for a while, but see how quickly they turn on him when he does certain things. The pontiff defended Putin, and claimed without foundation that it was, quote, others who created the conflict in Ukraine. Let's go on from there. So it reads, since the beginning of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Pope Francis has floated the idea they want to take a trip to Kiev, but now he says he would prefer to go to Moscow to talk some sense into Vladimir Putin. I feel like before going to Kiev, I must go to Moscow. He told this newspaper. But the meeting would not exactly be to condemn Putin, based on what he told the paper. He said the real scandal of Putin's war is NATO barking at Russia's door, which he said caused the Kremlin to react badly and unleash the conflict. Okay, that's what they're called. Pope Francis saying that NATO was barking at Russia's door, and this provocation caused the Kremlin to react badly and unleash the conflict. That's what they're calling a conspiracy theory. That's what others might just call the truth, common sense. There's no conspiracy involved here. There's nothing secret that's being, nothing secretive, nothing like, beneath the surface, this is what's really going on. It's not saying anything like that. Okay. Never mind that the 85-year-old pontiff is unable to walk after tearing a ligament in his knee, or that Putin won't even answer his calls. Are they making fun of him now for being disabled? Why should he go to Moscow? He can't even walk. The schmuck. I mean, I don't know, but it kind of sounds that way. The way that the tone of this article. Francis repeated comments that he made in general audiences and other interviews that war is nothing more than a giant opportunity for a trade in arms, and that it's still ongoing because of the constant shuttling of weapons to Ukraine. Okay, so he's against the weaponization of Ukraine. He's against the West generally feeding this conflict. He wants this conflict to come to an end. He wants to broker a peace deal, or he wants a peace deal to be brokered. I don't know if he sees himself as the one doing the brokering. But anyway, he's spoken twice by phone to Ukrainian president, but mostly to urge him not to fight back. Okay. So I don't if he told Zelensky that they shouldn't fight back, that they should just surrender, I don't know anything about that, but so yeah, that I'm holding in suspicion. But I do think he has taken on the tone that he thinks they should go into peace negotiations. The fighting should cease, the war should cease, the death and devastation that follows in the wake of war should cease. So he goes on to say, the clear thing is that weapons are being tested there in Ukraine. The Russians now know the tanks are of little use, and I'm thinking of other things. This is why wars are waged, to test the weapons we have produced. Few people are fighting this trade, but more should be done. Okay, so he's saying we need to stop this war before it gets out of hand. Okay, here again, conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory. That's one of those phrases, again, designed to make you just stop thinking, to stop being, using your critical faculties, and just feel ashamed of entertaining anything besides the party line. That's what, when they use conspiracy theory, that's the kind of spell they wish to cast on you. Francis veered toward conspiracy theory as he blamed the international community for instigating the war. You cannot think that a free state can make war on another free state, he said. In Ukraine, it seems that it was others who created the conflict. I am pessimistic, but we must do everything to stop the war. Okay, I mean, what's wrong with that? Why is that? He blamed the international community for instigating the war. Again, what he said was that others created the conflict because they were using Ukraine as a proxy state. They were wanting Ukraine to become part of NATO and thus encircle Russia and have nuclear weapons, just a few miles away from the border of Russia, and that was a provocative act. And he's right, it was. Okay, but they're really going off on him here. So news of the potential trip to Moscow put the Vatican press corps who traveled with the Pontiff on high alert, with many wondering if they would be arrested if they reported on discussions of the war if they were in Russia. Well, and he concedes that a meeting in Russia is a long shot because Putin is ignoring his phone calls. I fear that Putin cannot and does not want to have this meeting at this time. But how can you not stop so much brutality? All right, so Putin is, so Francis, give him some credit. I'm not saying this makes everything he's done before okay. I'm not saying this makes him into a great pope, but we have seen some interesting things lately, haven't we? I mean, we saw a month and a half ago now, on March 25th, the consecration of Russia in accordance with the Fatima, what the Virgin Mary allegedly told the Fatima seers, which had never really happened, or there was a great deal of debate about whether Russia had ever been consecrated, but he did it on March 25th because because he wanted to see an end to this war. And now, instead of just spouting the party line about Putin bad, Putin bad, Putin bad, NATO good, NATO good, NATO good, he's actually being critical of NATO. And it's amazing how quickly the Western press has turned on him. There's this article in the Daily Beast that I'm showing y'all, and there's some round table in the Wall Street Journal where they're basically saying, what's wrong with Pope Francis? And it's just, these people were all his pals. They were his friends. They thought he was the cool guy. He think he was gonna liberalize the church, and they loved him. But now they're treating him with a great deal of hostility. So, good on you, Francis. Better late than never. Hope you continue in this regard. Continue to push for peace, to push for de-escalation of this conflict, because if this goes on much longer, which I think many forces want it to go on, have a vested interest in it going on, that's going to lead to more death and more suffering for Ukraine, for Russia, and maybe for the whole world. So I fully support Pope Francis in his efforts right now, and let's hope that I don't know, better heads prevail. We'll see.